You must evolve because this is how the world works. I am your host, Devon, and you are listening to Center of the Sun podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Are you going to Friendsgiving? Some people can only go to Friendsgiving because they can't afford to go to real Thanksgiving. People do it in college and shit like that. I don't know. Everybody on Twitter, they've been talking about, or they've been dragging Mark Lamont Hill. Black people haven't fucked with him since, I know I haven't fucked with him since he told me to vote for the Green Party. But the controversial tweet about fucking macaroni and cheese, or whatever the hell, he's getting dragged about that. But Kaya and Azalea Banks are, I'm a brand loyalist. I don't know what is going on social media. I'm a brand loyalist. Kaya and Azalea Banks, they have the upper hand when it comes to issues with their opinions, because I've known them for a longer time. So Kaya and Azalea Banks have been roasting Lizzo for some odd reason I don't understand, for her recent award show wins. And they've been roasting Lizzo and calling her fat and calling her nasty and ugly and just these very weird attacks. And I can't help but to laugh because it's just like girls fighting with each other. I don't know. It's not very serious because in this whole world of feminism and Me Too and like solidarity, there's like this undercurrent of cattiness that's happening, and I just find it kind of funny. But I'm a brand loyalist, so naturally, because I grew up with Kaya, even though she's washed up or whatever, or seemingly, I don't know how people move in the world. Everything is produced on the internet, so she could be like she could have something going on in the background and I wouldn't know, or she could be totally ruined in the background and I wouldn't know, because all you have is this little frame in the phone. But basically, she's out here like going in on Lizzo, and I can't help but laugh because she's kind of right. She's kind of right, because we do overvalue proximity to whiteness, and Lizzo apparently has taken the industry by storm in terms of black women, because she's being called a rapper and an R&B singer and all these things that she didn't originally do as an artist. I don't know. I don't listen to Lizzo. I don't listen to Kaya because she's super homophobic. So actually, I don't really care. But I do listen to Azalea Banks. And Azalea Banks said the same thing. She called her fat Lizzo. And I'm still trying to find why. Well, I know why she called her fat Lizzo, because Azalea Banks is skinny and Lizzo is not. But, yeah, there's these undercurrents of just cattiness that I don't understand. And I don't like any of their music. I like some of Azalea Banks' music, but I prefer my own. Anyway, happy Thanksgiving. We're Thanksgiving to all, and to all a good night. Cash Doll, she admitted, continuing on our thing about women and rap, she admits that she writes 80% of her music and that she lets other people come help her. So I saw this tweet, and just basically people eat on the internet for money now, and I wish I would have chosen that as a job instead of what I currently do. But it is what it is. I'll just be a skinny hard worker over here and let y'all be the internet queens or whatever. But Cash Doll, a rapper, she admits that she writes 80% of her music and she lets others come in and help her, And honestly, if I think about music, and because everybody is so focused on these rappers and these women on Twitter and all this kind of stuff, I feel like people forget that regardless of what Kaya is saying about Lizzo and Azalea Banks and Iggy Azalea and Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, like, what people aren't realizing is that the first rule of music is that it should be fun. So if we're not laughing and playing and like being ridiculous and like, I guess making fun of each other because we're all at the caliber that we know how to, there's nothing like, even if I make fun of you, you shouldn't be able, you should feel like you're being bullied, but at the end of the day, like you're the shit too. So we're all, and all you gotta do is fight back, like fight back. But we're in this day and age where people, they prefer to get in their feelings, or they had never been in a fight before, and so they didn't know that they should fight back. But anyway, in this age of music and fighting about music and about who's the best, what we don't realize is that music is largely collaborative. And if it's not collaborative, it is at the very least fun. So when somebody like Cardi B or Cash Doll or whoever comes out and says that I only write a fraction of my music, that's okay, because I didn't expect you to sit down and make a whole song by yourself anyway, because that would be fucking miserable. And have you ever sang in a choir? Have you ever been to a concert? There is nobody just sitting on a stage by themselves doing a song alone. There's always a band, there's always something, there's always a piece of collaboration going on. And the fact that people ignore that, especially with rap, I don't get it. And men don't have this kind of pressure. And so then I guess it's just sexism or whatever it is, but you can't, if anybody, basically my rule is if I see anybody, I'm playing with a pen, I don't know if you can hear it. If anybody's making fun of a lyricist of any caliber, except for like Lil Pump, like people that like really make really stupid music, if you have any opinion over anybody making a song, you obviously have never sang and you don't know how to sing. You can't learn. You're dumb, and you've never written a song. You never sang, and you're dumb. And then you obviously have no concept of music and how to make it and the business. And then you don't have any concept of business. It's like, how do you have an opinion over this like incredibly nuanced, high skill, like it requires skills, and you have an opinion if someone doesn't create it in your image the way that you would do it. Anyway, I don't know. Fuck all the haters, but Kaya, I mean, she's the ultimate hater. When she said my neck, my back, my pussy, and my crack, like we should have known. We should have known she would never go away. Like people with these like everlasting opinions, and that's why I have a talk show, a podcast, because your opinions do matter, and regardless of if you're right, people do listen. So I guess I'm just a low-key stan of Kaya. Whatever. I'm a low-key stan of Omarion too, and I feel bad for Omarion these days. But I don't watch TV, so I really don't watch Love and Hip Hop. I don't even know if this is the right show. It probably is not, but it's fine. But Lil Fizz and Omarion are making the best TV out here in these streets. They are fighting. The girls are fighting. They're fighting over a girl, apparently. I don't know anything about fighting over a girl. I don't even know about fighting over a boy, because I don't have time. Yeah, I'm just so over it. I'm so over everything. And honestly, if Lil Fizz wants to fuck Omarion's ex or whatever, whoever, mother of his children or whatever, his somebody creating stepchildren for his friend, I don't even know, but apparently they're flaunting it around because it's like makes perfect TV. And I'm like, does anybody realize that no one cares about who you fuck? Yeah, people really, I guess when you're horny, you're horny. And I don't know why Omarion is in my Umwelt these days. I need him to leave, but everybody keeps talking about it and keeps pointing into their vaginas. I don't understand. And talking about like this pussy is golden. And I'm like, what? How is that even possible? Is your pH like special? You have some microbiota down there that's giving you some powers. I don't know. I don't get it. But apparently, we are not ashamed of sex and sexuality these days, and I think it's great. And the more people that explore their sexuality, even if it's weird on TV with Lil Fizz and Omarion, do that. I mean, if that makes you comfortable, do that, because it takes the onus off of me to teach you. about your sexuality if everybody's engaging in the bull crap. And that's what I tell my patients. I'm like, 3 people came into my clinic with an STD, and I'm like, are y'all sleeping with each other? Like, I don't know what's going on. But nonetheless, it's normal. And it's the iterative process of being a human. And if you don't get an STD, something's probably wrong because you're not having sex, which means that something is probably wrong with you emotionally, and then da-da-da. You know, it's like a cascade of things. So having an STD is just evidence that you're normal, that you're a normal person. People avoid me all the time because they think I'm perfect or whatever it is. I'm like, you have no idea. But, you know, I keep a good facade up, but who doesn't? But having STDs, being exposed to all kinds of things is normal because we're biological entities on planet Earth. So just like, let's see, Jeff Bezos, another biological entity who I consider probably one of the least influential people to me, because he's just like the symbol of the capitalist society that we've been trying to deregulate for the last 30 years, that Trump finally has, you know, put the nail in the coffin with the deregulation and all that kind of shit. Jeff Bezos, you know, he's a billionaire or whatever it is, or I don't know. I don't care about people's money. I just know that when you got too much, you got too fucking much, because I work in public health and I don't have time to be worrying about every dollar that somebody has when literally people are out here dying when you have too much money. So it doesn't really matter to me the amount of money that somebody has, but when the society is being milked for its loopholes, that's when I have an issue with your amount of money. If you pay taxes and everything's funded and everything is copacetic and all the budgets are good and you have an excess of billions of dollars, then by all means, get your life, sir. But the NIH needs funding. So I'm gonna need you to pay tax, because what we're not going to do is I don't want to have to rely on Gilead to pay half on a clinical trial. I don't want to do this. I don't want Gilead and ViiV to pay half, but I want the government to be able to study and validate and all those things with research so that we can trust our healthcare providers. And it's stories like Jeff Bezos that actually, if you go to my blog at devon.org, DVAUGHN.org, you can see the entire tweet thread that kind of just lays out the effed up way that we justify our fucked up government and sometimes economy, even though my entire retirement is in US dollars. Thank God for being associated with the government. It's stuff like this where it's like people want to destroy the government because they haven't benefited from it, or they don't see the benefit that they've gotten from it. And but it all starts with taxes. And Jeff Bezos, he is one of the most successful CEOs in American history because he's been able to avoid all taxes and not have and just reap all benefits from it. So there's been public backlash. Of course, I don't even use Amazon. I don't even want to use your data center. I'm gonna use a data center in Switzerland. God damn it. I'm using somebody private, and I'm making sure somebody is not you. And yeah, that's how opposed to Amazon. I refuse to buy anything on Amazon. I'm not buying anything. No, I refuse. I will buy it from the farmer's market. I will go to the farmer's market. I will have nothing in my home before I go to Amazon. I will be motherfucking starving before I buy food off Amazon. Like, nah, bruh. Nah, Jeff Bezos. Nah. No. The way y'all treat your workers, not cool. The way you treat... Now, the one thing I do appreciate about Amazon is that they're taking the old malls from Northeast Ohio and they're buying them up. I actually like that idea. That's a great idea, because I'm kind of worried about the industrial or the manufacturing and the retail that is abandoned here in Ohio. But I don't like the fact, like, I want them to innovate with technology and like retail, but like, can you like pay a tax though? That's why I'm so opposed. Like, all you gotta do is do the right thing. I don't give a fuck about your shareholders. It's not in your shareholders' interest to not pay tax because they're American citizens, most of them, I would hope, which they're probably not. They're probably foreign adversaries or whatever the hell. But that's neither here nor there. Jeff Bezos, he makes an incredible amount of money, and out of response to the backlash that he got last year from announcing, because they have to announce these things publicly, that's why it's like the American government is like not all bad, because the little bit of protections that we do have, like if you make money, you have to announce it publicly. If it's publicly traded, you know, it's like stuff like that like just makes sense. But as a response to his profit announcement of, you know, however many millions of dollars or billions of dollars it was last year, he donates $100 million to charity. And of course, this goes around social media, and there is no specific charity. There is nothing specified at all. Just a very specific amount of money donated to help homelessness. So, of course, the people were not impressed. Neither was I. I'm like, of course you would donate money to a private charity and just pay public tax. Support the public. You could do some corporate welfare and encourage your corporate friends. You could encourage your shareholders you could convince your shareholders that they could pay tax and still be okay. Like, you could do some corporate, I would be more impressed with if he went around and told his friends to pay tax or to donate to charity or to do something that actually changed the system. But no, he just does whatever you know, it's a formula. It is what it is. And I'm sure somebody will benefit, but not the greatest good, not the highest good. And because his intentions are fucked up and that he don't give a fuck about nobody, it very clearly don't give a fuck about nobody, because he's a very rich man and you can't get that rich without hurting somebody and literally not giving a fuck about who you hurt. That's why all money ain't good money. I'm good. If money wants to come my way, that's completely fine. But what I'm not about to be out of here doing is hurting people to get it. And there ain't no reason I need to do that, because I got what I need. And, you know, it is what it is. But I would just be more impressed if he actually did something to change the situation of homelessness and not continuously contribute to it and then put a Band-Aid on it in the form of $100 million charity because he can. Like, you have too much money. Like, you could just hire one PhD person and they could give you an answer. I know one right now. Anyway, considering your 2009 flashback photos on Twitter versus your 2019 ones, you know, some of you should have left those pictures there and not shared them with me. I looked great in 2009. I just looked vastly different than I do now. But because I've always looked this way, I've always been a very youthful face. But yeah, it was just funny. It was actually kind of cute seeing all of you on Twitter with your 2009 pictures, but you should have left them in the past and maybe reminisced privately with your family. But one last thing, or two things, because I want to move on, is that no, three things actually. Wow, I'm on a roll today. Are you liking the hot topics? I'm doing hot topics. I was meditating and somebody told me to have fun, so I'm gonna have fun. And when I say somebody told me to have fun, last week we were talking about channeling and like psychic shit and medium shit and all that kind of stuff. And I work with the earth. I work with the earth spirit. I work with the great spirit. I work with God. You know, that's all I can do. That's all I know about that. So I only fuck with shit on Earth, and I might fuck with some like some star beings, maybe. I don't really care. And you know, like when I need to care, I will care. If I need to stare at the sun or the moon or whatever it is and I get something out of it, then I will care. But right now, what I'm getting out of my meditation is my connection with Earth and just really trying to feel the environment. And what I'm getting out of it is that evolution is key. And I just love, so before I move on, evolution is key. And we're going to move on from Hot Topics, but the whole reason why I'm on Hot Topics is because I was meditating and I wanted to share with you that evolution, it's always an iterative process. And regardless of what happens, good or bad, you have to evolve. So when I think of Summer Walker or what's the other one? Ari Lennox, and they're mad. You know, they're mad about like, oh, people won't respect me for my craft and and people won't respect me for my social anxiety. They won't respect my emotions. They won't respect anything about me because I'm a black woman or whatever it is. But regardless, have you attempted to evolve? And I don't believe anybody, and not evolve to please other people, but like your life is the sum of your experiences. So you just have a greater sum of experiences. So who are you going to be? You know, like who are you going to be? Who are you going to be in that next moment? Like when you sum up your experiences and you get that subtotal, who are you going to be? And you have to evolve, and you have to be conscious of that. And it's a process. And you know, that's why Center of the Sun exists. It's my process of consciousness. I have to record it. I have to record this process. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I just know that being a black gay man is like one of the hardest things I've ever done. Like consciously, just like sit there and look at my life and be like, really? Okay, we're gonna just like ignore that part, you know, just like it's crazy. But you have to evolve, or you have to find a way to cope. I don't know, but you know who's finding a way to cope these days? Hillary Clinton. She is out here not backing down, and I love it. I love every moment of it. And she is not playing. She is going in on Donald Trump on Twitter. And if you haven't seen her tweets, go to my blog at devon.org, DVAUGHN.org, and find all these tweets and the cited sources, because I'm going to be talking about a few things today. In addition, I'm going to continue on with Hot Topics because that's just how I roll. And I pulled these topics and I'm like, well, they're good topics. And I started to do Hot Topics because it was fun. And that's what I've been getting from my divination these days. Kevin Hart. I don't really want to talk about him, but he's getting on my nerves. Kevin Hart now has a Netflix show because of the anti-gay treatment he received on Twitter. Bitch, you're a whole asshole. That's all I got to say. And I will never support you ever again. And Center of the Sun does not support you. When you say that you're going to break a dollhouse or something over your child's head because he's playing with dolls, no, we don't stand for that. You're just mad because you're as tall as a dollhouse. And that, it is what it is. Hurt people. I don't got nothing to say about it. I'm not watching your shit. You're not funny. You're short as fuck. You're not really goddamn cute. So there's no reason for me to even look in your direction. You mean nothing to me. And I have no reason to ever watch you again. On a lighter note, before we move on to our topic of evolution, Mariah Carey, I'm just really happy that Mariah Carey's children can sing. That was one of my greatest fears. I'm like, they look like weird. Like they're a little too energetic. to, like they're being weird to be like the queen, like the greatest singers spawn. But they, Mariah Carey, she's been marketing this fucking Christmas song. Thank God. I've been in love with that album since I was a child. Like finally getting its acclaim, but she's like promoting all the songs on that bitch. And she is really out here with the marketing and her children. She put her children up on she has twins. And they can sing, they can hold notes and like do things with their voice. And I'm like, thank God, like the next era is born. Like I'm going to be alive. I'm going to be alive for it. Anywho. So I want to tell you like how to prevent a dead end job. Like I want to tell you how to prevent being at a dead end job for like 30 years and then retiring from that bitch and being like super mad. So this next segment is thinking about, I just want to encourage you to think about your, and not because you're about to retire. Thinking about retirement 30 years before it's time is what I think of as the only way to avoid hating yourself when it's all over. And I want to pose a question to you. Is a job even worth pursuing if you hate going there every day? Like literally. So many people have heart attacks and like diabetes and high blood pressure and the Arthur and God knows what else. Countless illnesses. I mean, I've been exposed to TB. I have to get a flu shot every year just so I don't die of the flu. Because I've been exposed to so many things, like there's just so many things, like, but I like my job, so it's worth pursuing that, even though I, could die. Are you asking God for a new door? Are you, a new door me please, God? Like what's that that woman that I follow on YouTube too? Your grandparents, they seem to miss the part about the crippling depression that comes after working a dead-end job. My grandparents seem happy. Your grandparents seem okay. Maybe because they're retired, they don't got to do that bullshit no more. But it was like, maybe it was because it was an era that they worked with their hands or something. I'm not exactly sure. But there's something about the digital age that we live in right now. And there's something about you sitting at a desk all day that has raised your blood pressure at the tender age of 24 years of 24 years old or younger or around that age. And I've witnessed several people lament their job. The end when they retired from their job, they're just like, oh my God, I'm just so tired. I just want to go home. Like, I'm over this. Like, and I'm just like, are you expressing displeasure because you just want to stop, or are you pissed that all of your efforts amounted to nothing? And I'm like, oh my God, like if I get to the end of 30 years at a job, and I pray to that I never have to work that long. I pray I get a husband that has money and knows what the fuck he's doing, so I can just be like an artist. That's my dream. Excuse me, I'm like being visited by a ghost right now because it's like I'm expressing my dreams, but I'm like yawning. But if you get to the end of a job and you hate it and you're just ready to go and you're just like, you're not happy, you don't really have a party, you don't want to have a party, whatever, and you're like, I just want to go, is it because you want to stop, or is it because you're pissed that it all amounted to nothing? And at the end of 10 years, yes, you're supposed to have more than 100,000 followers on YouTube. One of these people that I follow on YouTube, he's always complaining about like how he's done it for 10 years. And I'm like, well, it's because you're mad. You're not having fun. You're not expressing yourself. Or if you are, it's not resonating with people. And yes, at the end of 30 years, you should, be healthy enough to take care of your 2 school-age children. You should not be dying. I'm just like, at the end of a marriage, yes, you should be excited to start over. But you're depressed and you don't want to date and you don't want to do nothing. And at the end of a song, yes, you should be excited to carry on. and do another one and continue singing and do more and can't sleep, and it makes you excited. But for some reason, all these people are sharing their experiences, but no one is willing to examine the root causes of their complaints. The root cause, if you want to avoid it, is that you're not finding that unique thing about you. You need to be excited about something. If you're not excited, you need to find that exciting thing. I'm like, come on. Like, I get excited about a lot of things, and if I don't have that like fluttering in my gut, like I continue doing something else. You always got to find that joy. Your emotions are the key to understanding and healing yourself. That's the natural remedy today. And how do you do that? Well, the best thing that you could do right now that's free and that you could, do on your phone after you get done listening to me is just record yourself stating the affirmations. You know how you do like a guided meditation or something like that? If you put it in your own voice, it seems far-fetched, but trust me. You change your subconscious by changing your thoughts. And you must physically, and your thoughts are physical things, they're thought forms, they have a charge, and they move across the world. Your signals go out, and they can be measured. And you must physically change the way that you think, and you must change the way that you listen to yourself. So, you know how you talk to yourself? Or, well, I talk to myself, but you might not talk to yourself, but you should start. But you say if you like hurt yourself or something, you say ow out loud or something. Like, you don't just say ow out loud because it's a response and you want other people to help you. It's because you're like literally like telling yourself like, this is wrong, everything about this hurts, like ow ow, like pay attention. Like, you're literally talking to yourself first, and you hear yourself the loudest. So if you record yourself with some Power Thought Cards by Louise Hay, those are my favorite affirmations, then you can just record your voice on your phone or a sound recorder or your computer. You can play some music in the background to make it less weird, or just use silence. That's okay too, and you just affirm the fuck out of yourself, though, because the neurons that wire together fire together, and if you look good, you feel good. And if you fake it, you make it. Like, all of these things that people that think aren't real, like even the ritual of it works. And I have evidence that it works. And I want you to report back. Email me, host@centersun21.com. And I really want to thank you for listening. And I want you to try it. Try it for a week. Do you feel different? How do you feel? If you feel different, what did you feel before? What changed? And I have evidence. I wanted to share with you evidence today that sometimes just the ritual of doing something actually has a positive and clinical effect. And that is called homeopathy or homeopathy. Have you heard of homeopathy? It's the natural remedy that I'm going to be sharing with you today because it is the foundation of alternative medicine. It kind of is a general field that I know some doctors can specialize in. It's becoming more common these days. I work at a college of medicine, so it's just like weird that people don't really talk about this. There's osteopathy as well that I always get it confused with. So homeopathy is a branch of science, of medicine. What have you heard about it? Well, regardless of the validity of the data that supports it or disproves it, I believe that homeopathy is important, and it is in the human's best interest to understand how ancient wisdom informs modern science. So regardless of if it works, it obviously informed modern science. It didn't come out of nowhere, and people still practice it today. So by dismissing it entirely, which is stupid because that's not how we roll in the center of the sun. We evaluate everything exhaustively. We believe in the highest order of the highest good, and we have hope. and we believe. We believe in ourselves. We believe in the uniqueness of human potential in the universe. And by dismissing it entirely, this entire area of medicine that obviously has a positive effect, regardless of if you can explain it with physics, when there's clearly evidence and government institutions like my own supporting, at least some value is added over not studying it, dumb bitch. So and I'm really talking to the skeptical inquirer. I pulled a journal. I was pissed. I was like, really? Like, your whole premise is just being an asshole. Like, get out of here. You're not even fun. Like, get out of here. And regardless, since there's not enough evidence to support homeopathy or whatever it is, I can't take this to my boss and be like, look, try this on patients. Like, scientists are creating, they're trying to use it as a bridge to modern science because there is an interest in learning how each individual organ, each individual thing works in all of the ways, not just in the one way that we view stuff with modern science. Everything cannot be explained with modern science. Like, what do you mean? You can't validate everything with modern science. And some shit just don't make sense. That's why we believe in God. Because it's like, well, unknown force, that must be God. Praise the Lord. It's normal, just like having an STD. It's like it's normal to not be able to explain things. Being in the gray area is fine. Being neutral is fine. Being the observer is fine. And that's what homeopathy is. So I wanted to give you some information about it. What is it? Here, let me get this. Let me get the real journal out here. So the sources are cited on my blog, dbaughn.org. Oh my God, please sign up. It's free. You just use your email address. And if you wanted to donate to support the blog, you can donate $25 a month or $200 a year. If you can't afford that, just sign up and just your presence is greatly appreciated. Like, it's fine. It's totally cool, dude. But homeopathy, if you want to learn more, I got all the sources up on my blog. Just find them there. It is what it is. It'll be featured right at the top. This, I guess it'll be for future reference. I guess you'll just have to search for homeopathy. But anyway, the efficacy of homeopathy, there is a review that I read. It's called Reinterpreting Homeopathy in the Light of Placebo Effects to Manage Patients Who Seek Homeopathic Care, a systematic review. And this article is by Michelle Antonelli and David Donnelly, and they are doctors, I believe, I don't know, or statisticians or somebody important at the Department of Medicine. That's where I used to work, sorry. The Department of Medicine, this is like a habit to say that. It's really funny. The Department of Medicine and Surgery Institute of Public Health, University of Parma, Italy. And this has something to do with Emory University in the United States here in Atlanta, Georgia. So they did like a nice little collabo with some statisticians over here. And basically, they define homeopathy as a system of alternative medicine invented by Samuel Hahnemann in 1796. And based on the principle that like cures like. Oh, I thought that was grammatically weird. Let me read that again. It's based on the principle that like cures like. Homeopathic remedies are substances that are highly diluted in water and alcohol that are few or even no molecules of the original compound found in the final product. So homeopathy is a medicine, basically. It's like a apothecary. You know how you go see a witch and she's like, boil, toilet. No, you've never done that. But it's the same thing as what you would see on like TV. It's like kind of like a pseudoscience compared to our very toxic, very intense medications that we take. Sometimes you don't need all that. And this review was very interesting because on the surface you will be like, well, I guess we're just gonna call it a placebo. But do you even know what a fucking placebo is? I bet you don't, because I learned about what a placebo was looking at this motherfucking article, and I'm sharing it with you. So basically, there is not a lot of clinical evidence that homeopathy and homeopathic remedies work, but there is also not evidence that it doesn't work either. So that is what's interesting. That was the first thing that I found interesting about this article, is that there's seems to be at least a little bit of a positive effect. It at least doesn't hurt you, which is good. And that people are starting to view it as maybe it's less about the substances or the molecules, because there's very few. They basically don't give you nothing. They just kind of lay hands on you and say, believe in the power of the sun or something. But it is not inferior to a placebo effect. And sometimes it's like, well, damn, the placebo effect, damn, it worked for depression. Sometimes not doing something is better than adding something. So sometimes a medication works, but it's not better than if you did nothing. And it's not better than if you tricked them, and And the thing about homeopathy, placebo, is that you don't have to trick nobody. They already know it don't work. They already know it's like a drop of vinegar in some water, and be like, that's how you gonna get rid of IBS, girl. Or some oils and things, and that's how you get rid of depression. And it's like, maybe it's not the oil, maybe it's not the vinegar, maybe it's the ritual. So let's look at what the placebo is. And I want to quote this article very verbatim, because I was like, I barely know what you're doing, and they're quoting everybody up in this bitch, because they looked at like 60 or 4,000 studies, but they could only use 60 of them. But they screened like all these studies, and it was very, very comprehensive. And basically they said that a placebo effect is a psychobiological phenomenon that actively involves the brain underlying an anticipation of clinical benefit. Whereas, when referring to the overall benefit derived from a placebo treatment, we must refer to it as the result of placebo effects, since there are many. This article goes on to say that, however, we can deduct a simple but meaningful logical consequence from the let me start over. My bad. I can't read. I mean, it's small type. Let me bring the type up, because this was good. I hope you're ready, because I wasn't ready. Let me make it a new paragraph. However, we can deduct a simple but meaningful logical consequence from the upon reported results and make it a hypothesis that if homeopathy efficacy is at least comparable to placebo, and if placebo treatments can be effective for some health conditions, then homeopathy as a whole intervention may be considered as a placebo treatment. Obviously, this last point needs to be experimentally tested. I have chills. I am just like, bitch, modern science, ancient wisdom. Let's bridge it. Let's figure it out. Let's experiment. Let's make some clinical trials. Sometimes the ritual as medication. It's so cool. Sometimes emotion. Have you seen the OA on Netflix? Literally the O and A, like the letter O and the letter A. That's what it's called, the OA. Just doing motions. I need to finish the second season or something. Oh, maybe I'll do that tonight. But just the motion of it. The Reiki and the believing and the drinking of water, just the motion can heal you. The context. Maybe it's the doctor. Maybe it's the homeopathic doctor making you feel better about your life. That's why they call it a placebo effect, because everybody is different. Everybody's interaction with the doctor is different, so they can't control how you feel, or they can't control the signals. Oh my God, they can't control the thought forms that are moving. We only look at stuff from physics, but if you listen to season 3 of Center of the Sun. We figured out that we know that plants talk to each other, and we know that they talk to each other inside and outside of our physical realm. So why can't humans do the same thing? There are unknown forces. There are places that we can go that we don't experience here in this realm. And when I say go, I mean like we're there. Like we just have to put our awareness. We're already there. We just have to place our awareness there. You have to evolve. Wow. I don't know. You can read it for yourself. This is just my interpretation. The ritual of it. And people are always trying to be like, oh, this is woo-woo. I don't even know where the fuck that term came from. Woo-woo came from. But I was raised a Baptist. I was raised the whole supernatural. I believe in all that shit. So I'm like, I don't know. Makes sense to me. But isn't it better? Wouldn't it be better to treat IBS with a ritual than a pill? If we said, go get on your knees and pray and do this thing, and now you don't have depression. Like, that's why they say pray it away. It has a placebo effect. And the placebo effect is only 5 to 7%. You know, like if they test the medicine, they always like have a little percentage for it. Because they just know just the act of doing it can heal you. Or you create the conditions that cause the cascade of illnesses in your mind. The Biology of Belief, Bruce Lipton, Epigenetics, Unknown Forces, about consciousness, the collective consciousness. Come on, people. It's so cool, though. What do you think? Have you read about, do you know any homeopathic doctors? Apparently, I do know one. I should probably pick his brain one day. But what do you think? Send me your thoughts. Host at centersun21.com. Also, become a free member, or, you can give a monthly gift. It is about to be Christmas. If you want to surprise your old pal, you can at devon.org. It's spelled DVAUGHN.org. And I look forward to seeing your email in my email box. Your email address in my email box. Thank you for listening.